Hi everyone, my name is Kevin and I'm with the Sigma training team. Welcome to Sigma. The following is a general familiarization session that will cover basic navigation to get you started in your understanding of the look and feel of the Sigma environment. Included in this session will be an overview of basic navigation as well as additional standard functionality. We'll provide introduction to the standard functionality by using the employee timesheet and employee travel expense transactions. While we are using the time and travel transactions, I'd like to point out that the functionality to be demonstrated is applicable in other business roles and transactions throughout Sigma. To begin, we'll access Sigma from My Login. Your view will not show an environment name after Sigma. This is for testing purposes only. Click the Sigma link. Read the terms and conditions and select the I agree to the terms and conditions checkbox. Then select Launch Service. Sigma utilizes business roles which control the look and feel of the application. Each business role has a home page that provides users with quick access to the transactions, inquiries, and resources they use most often in Sigma. The first time you log into Sigma, the employee business role will be selected. This is the business role all employees will have. It is used to enter time, travel, and expense-related transactions. We are using the employee business role to demonstrate many pieces of Sigma functionality. However, keep in mind that most of these features being shown via the employee business role will work the same way in all other business roles. A few items that are different and cannot be accessed from the employee or manager business roles are page code search and business intelligence. We'll touch on page code search a little bit later. Some users may have many business roles, depending on the nature of their job responsibilities. To change business roles, click the user profile with your name in the top right corner of the screen. You can change account settings, switch between business roles, and sign out of the application. We'll select another business role. You'll notice that switching business roles changes the home page layout. You can ignore the player controls, and they are for testing purposes only. This illustrates how each business role has been tailored to display relevant transactions, inquiries, and references. Now we'll show you how to change your default business role and reorder business roles from the user profile. There are many employees who may use the application on a daily basis for functional type responsibilities, such as procuring goods or accounting transactions. If so, you may only use your employee business role every 2 weeks to enter time. If that's the case for you and you want to change your default business role, click the user profile, account settings, and business role preferences. Here, you have the option to change your primary or default business role, as well as the order in which business roles are listed from the user profile. Changes made here take effect upon the next login to Sigma and remain in effect until changed again. I'll go ahead and show this process by changing my default business role to manager. First, go to the current default business role and set it to no. Then, set the preferred primary or default business role to yes. If you try to set another business role to yes prior to changing the previous default business role to no, you'll get an error message. We also have the ability to change the display order business roles are listed from the user profile. This may be useful if you have numerous business roles, but you use certain ones more than others. Lower numbers will display business roles at the top of the list so you don't have to scroll to locate them. We recommend leaving gaps in the display order numbering to streamline later updates you may want to make, as 2 business roles cannot share a display order number. I'll change the financial management business role to 13 And that will move this business role to second on my list from the user profile. So now I'll go ahead and now that I've made my updates to the default and display order business roles, I'll go ahead and click Save and Close. And the save was completed successfully. So I'll go ahead and sign out. And then once I sign back in, we will see that the manager business role is now my default, so it takes me right to the manager home screen. And if I go ahead and click the user profile, financial management is now listed second in order of business roles from the user profile. There are three components of the home page: quick links, widgets, and the left-hand navigation menu. These navigation icons are dynamic and specific to whatever business role you have selected. The navigation icons, or quick links, are the colorful tiles across the top of the home page. They provide shortcuts to frequently used pages for the selected business role. We'll click the current timesheet quick link, and it will take me directly to the timesheet for the current pay period. I've already submitted this timesheet, so it took me to the Summary tab. For new entry current timesheets, this will open on the Time Entry tab for a daily breakdown. Then, if I want to navigate back to the home page, click the Home Page icon from the top of the page. Moving down the screen, we have widgets, which also vary by business role. These display dynamic information that change over time. The My Work widget contains a list of my in-process timesheet transactions. You're able to interact with the transaction within the widget. You can click the Transaction ID hyperlink to access that specific transaction. Depending on your business role, there may be additional widgets farther down on the screen, so you may have to do some scrolling. The left-hand navigation menu is just another way for you to navigate through the system. This is more of a topic-based navigation and is helpful if you're not finding quick links for what you're looking for, or potentially if you're a new user and you're not sure what you're looking for. To open the menu, click the three-line menu at the top. You'll see various topic areas that can be expanded. From there, we can access specific transactions. At the top of the screen, we'll go ahead and click back to the home page. At the top of the page, we have the Global Navigation search bar. The search bar is always available to you, regardless of which business role or page you're on. The global search may be beneficial in your job-specific business roles. Employees and managers who are entering time will not need to use this feature. The first part of this search bar is a category filter. This allows you to filter for specific types of information. The search bar acts as somewhat of a word search. I'll go ahead and select the All category, and if I begin typing the word expense, EXPE, the type ahead functionality will display a list of results in the system that correspond to that keyword. I can simply navigate down and select the result, expense reports. Or I can click the magnifying glass to search if you don't see your result from the dropdown. For job-specific business roles, such as cost accounting, if you know a page code to a frequently used page, it may be more efficient for you to choose the page code category filter. Again, outside of the employee and manager business role. For this example, we'll select the cost accounting business role. Select the drop-down and page code, and then if I know the specific page code, I can enter the acronym GAX and select the general accounting expense. And this will navigate me directly to the page. Now we'll go back to our employee business role. Moving across the top of the page, the home page icon navigates you back to the business role homepage from whatever page you're on. You can also right-click on the home page icon and open another session of Sigma by choosing either Open in New Tab or open a new window. For example, you could enter your timesheet and create an expense report at the same time. Just know that when you're working in multiple sessions, you need to be working in the same business role, or information will be lost. Bookmarks displayed with a star icon work the exact same way that bookmarks work in web browsers. Just like in your web browser, if there's a page you visit often and it hasn't already been quick linked for you, you can go ahead and create your own bookmark. To add a bookmark, we'll click into a transaction I'm currently working on. You'll see a star next to the page name. We'll click the star to highlight it. We can save bookmarks to a default or general list. In addition, we can create folders of bookmarks to organize them. I'll keep this bookmark in my general list and click Save. If I go back to the home page and then click the star icon for bookmarks, it will then show for me from the drop-down, and I can easily access it right from here. We can also delete a bookmark by clicking the star icon and clicking delete, and this is once we no longer need to access the transaction frequently. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete this and click yes, and we'll see that this is now removed from my bookmarks list. So I'll go ahead and click the home icon here, and we'll move on to the alerts icon, which is displayed with a bell. And this will show red circles with the number of unread messages for any system-generated notifications or processed transactions. We currently don't have any, but you can also access all of your messages by clicking View All. The Help icon, displayed with a question mark, is dynamic and will display helpful information for the specific business role and page you're on. This feature may be able to answer your question quickly and potentially save you a call to the help desk. There are also in-application training resources from the Advantage Assistant pop-out window that provide quick reference to commonly used transactions. If I click the Advantage Assistant pop-out window, I can see how many videos and screen guides are available for the specific business role and page that I'm on. These resources walk you through a transaction step by step. For example, time and travel videos and screen guides will be available from the pop-out window within the employee business role, while only manager-specific resources will be available from the manager business role. We'll go ahead and open up a video and see that we don't even have to leave the system to access the training resource. So I'll go ahead and click the Videos tab, and we'll see that we have videos that are specific to the employee business role, such as time entry overview. And we also have videos that are applicable to all business roles, such as uploading attachments. So I'll go ahead and click the time entry overview video. And this will open the video in a new window. So I can either expand it here and watch the video, or I can go ahead and move it to a different screen and click play and just kind of go along with the video as you're going through the transaction yourself. So I'll click play. Welcome to a brief introduction on time entry for employees in Sigma. We can also turn on closed captioning.
Let's begin by clicking.
Now we'll look at a screen guide. So I'll go ahead and close out of the videos window here and select the Screen Guides tab. Screen guides provide general navigation and allow transactions to be saved, personalized to meet your specific needs, and to create transactions in the system. Then just follow the prompts. So I'll go ahead and select the Creating a Leave Request Annual Leave Screen Guide, and a blue tooltip will display, and it will let me know how to proceed through the transaction. So right at the beginning here, it lets me know that creating a transaction via the screen guide does actually create a live transaction in the system. So I'm aware of that, and then to submit a leave request, click the Time and Leave Quick Link. And then I'll click the Leave Request tab, and then click the next arrow. And we're going to go ahead and create a leave request by clicking the Create Leave Request button. And again, this just lets me know that this does actually create a transaction in the system. So from here, I can go ahead and search for an event type from the pick list. If I do know the event type, I can simply enter it here outside of the screen guide. So if I exit out of this, I can continue on with this transaction. But let's just say that I don't know the event type, and here is annual leave. So I'll go ahead and choose that and click OK. And then it will just kind of move me along the required fields here throughout the transaction. Now I can also, if this was not an annual leave that I wanted, I can go ahead and exit out of this, and I'm still in the transaction that's created in the system, and I can go ahead and just change this here. So I can also save the transaction, submit once I have all the required fields completed, or I can also discard the transaction, which I'll go ahead and do now. And yes, I want to discard this transaction. Now we'll show you time entry for a current timesheet. We'll select the employee business role, which we're currently already in. And from here, we'll notice that there's a current timesheet quick link, since it's a frequently used transaction for this business role. We'll go ahead and click that. And the timesheet opens and is in draft status, which is already in edit mode the first time you open it. If you were to save and come back to it, you just need to click an edit button in the top right corner of the screen prior to making changes. The timesheet automatically populates based on the employee's default work schedule. State of Michigan holidays and pre-approved leave requests will also populate on the timesheet. Now we'll walk through how to add sick leave to your timesheet. Click the insert icon to add a new line. Search or enter the event type code. So I know it here, so I'll just enter SKLV, enter the hours of sick time, 8, and then change the corresponding Reg 1 line hours, 0. For sick leave, we'll add a comment by clicking the comments icon. For sick leave event types, comments are necessary, with the exception of Michigan State Police Troopers and Union T01. I'll go ahead and add a comment. Self-sick, and click OK. And as always, follow your agency's policies and preferences. We'll go ahead and show another example. So I'll click the insert icon to add a new row, and I'm going to be volunteering at a tree farm for the state of Michigan with my school and community leave. So I'll go ahead and enter SCHL. We could also search for this event type by clicking into the pick list here, but I know that, so I'll type that in, and I will enter my 2 hours of community time, and then I will change the Reg 1 line accordingly. And now I'll go ahead and click validate. And we'll see that a warning message has appeared, and we've got a highlighted icon that shows where that is and which line item that is referring to. We can go ahead and click through the various warning or error messages by clicking the next or previous arrows, or we can expand all warning or error messages by clicking the Show All Messages Along with Details icon. And one of the two messages here is just telling us that the transaction validated successfully, and the other one is the comment has not been entered. So warning or error messages that apply to a specific event type, timesheet row, or tab will have hyperlinks that highlight and take you directly to the field to be reviewed or resolved. So I can expand this for additional details, what needs to be done here. Or like we said previously, we can go ahead and just click this hyperlink, and it will take me directly to the warning that needs to be reviewed or corrected. So we have to enter a comment here. So I'll go ahead and click this comments icon and leave a comment. And I've got my comment off to the side here that I will add for the reviewer. Volunteering at a tree farm, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. I'll click OK. And now when I go ahead and validate, this will resolve the warning message and the transaction validated successfully. So I can go ahead and submit. Now, if I would have clicked submit, instead of validate originally, I still would have received the warning or error message here. But validate kind of helps you along the way, just so you don't have to kind of go back and forth, back a couple steps, and locate the different warnings or errors as you go along. So we'll go ahead and click submit. And this is submitted to my manager successfully. Once submitted, we can see that the draft status has now changed to pending. So I can either, if I click the three-dot menu on top here, I can track work in progress from the three-dot menu, or I can track work in progress by clicking the pending status here. And this shows me that the transaction is currently with my manager, and you'll see that it is orange. So that means action is needed by my manager. So once my manager takes action and approves this, it will show approved and turn green, and then it will show that the transaction is assigned to the department timekeeper. If we go ahead and click the back button, we can also see that if I click the three-dot menu and I made or I had an adjustment after I submitted my timesheet and I need to make a couple edits, I can go ahead and click this recall from workflow. And that can be done at any point before the transaction is in final status. But I'm not going to do that, so I'll just go ahead and click out of this. And other than that, if the timesheet is rejected, an email notification from Sigma will be sent to the user that submitted the timesheet, and the timesheet transaction will be available from the My Work widget on the home page, which is right here. From the home page, you can use the time and leave quick link in the same manner for other pay periods. Now we'll walk through a travel expense report. From the employee business role, click the travel and expense quick link from the home page. Click expense reports. Previously created draft and approved expense reports are displayed at the bottom of the page. Expense reports in draft status can be opened and edited from here. We'll create a new expense report. Click the Create Expense Report button. We'll see a 3-step progress tracker at the top of the page. Complete required fields shown with a red asterisk. So I've got all my red asterisk required fields completed. And if you have meals for your expense report, enter the trip start and end times. And remember to use military time or a 24-hour clock. For example, 5 p.m. should be written as 17:00. Entering the start and end times here will save you steps later on by populating the information on all expense lines added to the transaction. If you don't complete these fields, an error will be generated upon submission. I'll leave these blank for now to show the errors later on. In the destination field, we can search from the pick list and filter using wildcards. So I'll go ahead and I'm looking for the city Gaylord, so I'll type in G-A-Y-L, and I'm using my asterisks to narrow my search. And it brings up Gaylord, Michigan. So I can either select it here and click OK. I can also, you'll notice a heart on the right hand side here, and that's to favorite items. So if you frequently travel to Gaylord, Michigan, you can go ahead and select that. But I'm going to go ahead and actually cancel out of this. I'm not going to select this. I did favorite this, so I'm going to show you that in a second here. So I haven't made a selection in my destination. The type ahead functionality also works in this destination field. So if I click in here and begin typing Gaylord, it will populate results that match that word. And if I back this out, if I go ahead and just click into the destination field and wait a couple seconds, my favorited cities will display here. So I can just go ahead and select Gaylord, Michigan, and my destination field is complete. We've completed all required fields on this page, so we'll go ahead and click Continue. From the top of the expenses page is a hyperlink to the Financial Management Guide, which I have pulled up on another screen here. This resource assists with determining tax treatment of expense reimbursements, taxable versus non-taxable, which may save you a call to the help desk. We'll go ahead and click the Insert icon to add an expense line, and we'll choose the expense date, 5/13, and then I'll click in the expense type field for a favorited lunch item that I currently have, favorite expense type, and I'll click that, and we'll see that the actual expenses field is automatically updated. The amount in the actual expenses field correlates with the meal event type and cannot be changed. We'll go ahead and enter another expense line, so we'll click the Insert icon and enter our required fields, expense date 5/13, and we're going to go ahead and enter a mileage expense type. So I can search from the pick list. If I have anything favorited, I can search from here, or I'm just going to begin typing the word mile. And it looks like here is my selection, so I'll choose that. And we'll see that a mileage records hyperlink pops up. So we can go ahead and click the mileage records link and click the insert icon. Again, add a date, 5/13, and yes, we'll make this a round trip. And I've got a couple addresses off to the side here that I'm going to copy and paste into the starting location and then into the ending location. So I'm going to go from Lansing to Gaylord. And from here, I will go ahead and click the Save button. For round trips, the system automatically breaks the trip out into two one-way segments. So as I can see here, I've got my trip to Lansing to Gaylord, and then I've got my trip from Gaylord to Lansing. So it calculates the mileage here, and I can go ahead and click the Close button at this point. And we'll see that the system automatically updates the actual expenses here as well. So based on the mileage I input, and then the system uses MapQuest on the back end, and that generates the actual expenses here for us. Other expense types, such as parking, will require you to manually enter the actual expense. We'll go ahead and click the Insert icon to add an expense line, add the expense date, and then from the expense type field, we will search for parking, do an asterisk, PARK, to narrow our search, and click the search button. And we will go ahead and make this selection and click OK. And as we can see, the actual expenses for this expense type does not auto-populate. So we actually do have to enter this in. So I will enter 10. And then if we move over to the attachments icon, I'll go ahead and click that. And we can either browse from files or drag and drop documentation here. So I've got a couple files off to my other screen here that I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop into the table here. And once those are in the table, I'll click Upload. And successfully uploaded 2 files. I'll go ahead and click Close. And now from the paperclip icon, we can see the number 2, which shows us how many attachments are attached to this paperclip icon. So once we have input all of our items, we'll go ahead and click the Continue button and move to the Summary tab. And from this page, we're just going to go ahead and review everything, make sure everything looks correct. I can also add attachments from this page, and everything looks good to me. So I'm going to go ahead and click Submit. And we do have a few errors here, so we'll go ahead and review and fix those. So I can either review each error individually by clicking these arrows, or I can expand this Show All Messages Along with Details icon, and that will show me the entire list of warning or error messages. So the start and end time, those are the errors, and that is what we left blank on purpose just to show you earlier for the meal expense. So I'll go ahead and I can do this drop down arrow, click that, and it will show me a little bit more information about the error. I can also just go ahead and click this hyperlink, and that will take me directly to the error that needs to be resolved. So I'll just go ahead and enter my start and end time. I just forgot to do it on the front end. And we'll go till 5 p.m. If we had entered the start and end times on the trip information tab originally, that information would populate on all expense lines added to the transaction. And as mentioned previously, start and end times must be entered as military time or a 24-hour clock. So 5 p.m. would be entered as 17:00. So now I'll just go ahead and click validate. And that has resolved all of my error messages. So I can go ahead and submit at this point. And the travel expense report has been successfully submitted. So just like the timesheet transaction we went over earlier, you're also able to, from the three-dot menu, track work in progress from here or here. So I'll go ahead and click that. See that it's currently with my manager. I click the back button, and I can also recall from workflow if I need to make any edits before it is in final status. To access additional training resources, click the Job Aids quick link from the Employee Business Role homepage in Sigma. This directs you to our SharePoint page inside Sigma. Training resources are available by functional area. I'll click Time, Expense, Leave, and Labor section. Job Aids, videos, and Advantage Assistant training resource locations in Sigma can be found here and are broken down by business role. Help desk contact information for the various functional areas can also be found here. This general familiarization session intentionally covered basic time entry and travel expense entry. Be sure to follow your agency's policies and preferences for detailed entry requirements. For example, some employees may need to enter accounting information on time or travel transactions to reflect detailed funding sources associated with your work.